Hello boys and girls, today we begin lesson 28. Lesson 28, our main story will be Days with Frog and Toad. It's actually a story that comes from this book, Days with Frog and Toad. We're also going to be reading about measuring weather. So once again, this is lesson 28, and the main story that we're going to read is called The Kite, by the way. Alright, let's get into our sight words. Our sight words this week, number 1 is second. So number 2 is also the second one, right? It says the boy is trying to tie his second sneaker, because everyone has 2 shoes, right? You have a pair of shoes. You can say that one is the first and then another one is the second. So he already tied one, he's tying his second sneaker. Ball is our second word, and it says she practiced until she could hit the ball well. Look at that. She can bat now. Alright, here we have number 3. Number 3 is across. It says the runners dashed across the finish line. Wow. That's so amazing. Across. Alright, number 4 is head. Head. Everyone has a head, right? It says he hit the ball with his head to make a goal. Wow, I didn't know you can make a goal with a head too. So interesting. Alright, this one is heard. Number 5, heard. This is the past of hear. The children heard clapping at the end. So they were performing at a show, and after they finished, they heard the people clapping because they did an amazing job. Alright, our number 6 is large. Something large is something big, right? It was not too hard to ride up the large hill. This is a very large hill, right? A hill is like a small mountain. Alright, here we have number 7, cried. We can do it. You see, showing a strong feeling, exclamation mark at the end. We can do it, cried the team. And then number 8, this is the last one. It's should. The teacher said that she should try it again. Should. Alright, so now we are moving on to our main focus for when we read the story this week. And it's going to be story structure. It says a story has different parts. Characters are the people and animals in a story. The setting is where a story takes place. And finally, the plot tells about the problem the characters have and how they solved it. Use a story map to tell about the characters, setting, and plot. So this is the story structure. The story structure, it's made out of the characters. It can be animals or it can be people. The setting is once again where the story takes place. And finally, boys and girls, the plot is what's the problem in the story and how the characters are going to solve it. Finally, boys and girls, this is like a little preview of the topic that we're going to read about. It says weather. And it says weather can cause problems. Storms can damage homes. Too much rain can lead to floods. The weather can also help us. Rain helps crops grow. Wind helps us fly kites. So very important to have wind then, right? You will find out if the wind helps Frog and Toad in the Kite. That is the title of our story for this week. And I'm not going to make you wait any longer because here we go with our story. But before we get to the story, this is a story. It's called The Kite. And it's from a book titled Days with Frog and Toad. And it was written and illustrated by Arnold Lovell. But I want you to look at it, boys and girls. Does this have real photographs? Or are these pictures drawn by an artist? Yes, as you can see, these are pictures drawn by someone. And you can see, I think maybe you remember the other story that we read about Toad and Frog. Do you remember that Toad wanted a garden, but then he didn't want to be patient. He didn't know how to be patient and wait for the plants to grow, for the seeds to grow. And he went out and he yelled the plants. He read them poems. He read them stories. He played music for them. He sang to them. But the seeds didn't grow because it takes time for the seeds to grow, right? No matter what you do, no matter how much water you put on the plants, plants, they need water, boys and girls. They need water to grow. Well, they need time to grow as well. All right, boys and girls. So I'm sorry for all the noise that I have at home today. I'm sorry about that too. All right. So we're gonna meet a little. We're gonna learn a little bit about Arno Lobo. He's the one who wrote the story, and he's also the person who drew the pictures for the story. So he's the author. He wrote the words, and he's the illustrator. He's the one who drew the pictures. Let's go ahead and read a little bit. It says, Arno Lobo drew many animals before he came up with the frog and toad characters. During vacations with his family in Vermont, Mr. Lobo watched his children play with frogs and toads. Soon the animals were staring in his book. So you see, that's how he got the idea, by watching his kids play with the frogs. All right, so here we go. So once again, this is the title of the story. It's called The Kite. The Kite, El Papalote. You can see that a frog is holding a kite right there. All right, let's begin then. It says, Frog and Toad went out to fly a kite. They went to a large meadow where the wind was strong. Our kite will fly up and up, said Frog. It will fly all the way up to the top of the sky. Toad, said Frog, I will hold the ball of string. You hold the kite and run. All right, so as you can see, Toad is the one, Frog designed a plan, and then Toad is the one that is supposed to run to make the kite fly. Frog is going to hold the string. All right, Toad ran across the meadow. He ran as fast as his short legs could carry him. The kite went up in the air. It fell to the ground with a bump. Toad heard laughter. 3 robins were sitting in a bush. Oh, look at the mean robins. And this part is very important, boys and girls, because you're going to see. The birds are laughing at Toad because the kite didn't fly. The kite fell on the floor. Let's see what's going to happen now. It says, that kite will not fly, said the robins. Don't forget, the robins are over here. This is what the robins told Toad. They told him, that kite will not fly, said the robins. You may as well give up. But listen what Toad is going to tell Frog now. Or listen what Toad is going to tell Frog now. Because this is Toad and this is Frog. All right. So it says now, Toad ran back to Frog. So here's Toad. He came back running to Frog. And he told him, Frog, said Toad, the kite will not fly. I give up. This is exactly what the robins told him. That's why he's repeating to Frog. Let's see what's going to happen. We must make a second try, said Frog. Wave the kite over your head. Perhaps that will make it fly. So now he's waving the kite over his head. Toad ran back across the meadow. He waved the kite over his head. The kite went up in the air and then fell down with a thud. "What a joke!" said the robins. The robins are here again. "That kite would never get off the ground." But it did already, it's just that it fell. You see, after he ran and he waved the kite over his head, the kite fell again. And now the birds are making fun of Toad again. That's not fair. Look at it. Now Toad is going back to Frog, and he's gonna tell him exactly what the birds just told him. Listen to it. Toad ran back to Frog. "This kite is a joke." Do you remember what the bird said? That's exactly what the bird said. He said, "It will never get off the ground." "We have to make a third try," said Frog. "Wave the kite over your head and jump up and down. Perhaps that will make it fly." So on one hand we have the toad. The toad, he wants the kite to fly, but he wants to give up because the birds told him that the kite is a joke, the kite is not good, and he just wants to give up. Now on the other hand, Frog is like, "Wait, be patient. I know we can do it. Just let's try something new." So besides running and waving the kite, now the Toad is gonna try jumping up and down. Let's see. It says Toad ran across the meadow again. He waved the kite over his head. He jumped up and down. The kite went up in the air and crashed down into the grass. Oh my goodness, it didn't work again. So as you can see, he was running, he waved the kite over his head, and then he jumped up and down, but it didn't work. The kite fell again. Oh, guess what? Who's laughing again? The mean robins are laughing again. The birds are laughing again. "That kite is junk," said the robins. "Throw it away and go home." Toad ran back to Frog. Guess what? To tell Frog what the birds just said. "This kite is junk," he said. "I think we should throw it away and go home." So I want you to see the influence of the words, boys and girls. If you tell people good things, they're going to repeat good things. They're going to put good things in their head. But if you tell other people bad things, or you hear bad things all the time, guess what? You're going to believe that they're right, and you're going to keep them in your head. And that's what you're going to think. But since God, Toad has Frog, Toad is not alone. Toad has his friend Frog. And he says, "Toad," said Frog, "we need one more try. Wave the kite over your head. Jump up and down and shout, 'Up, kite, up!'" Toad ran across the meadow. He waved the kite over his head. He jumped up and down, and then he shouted, "Up, kite, up!" Let's see if it works right now. If this time it works. Did it work? Yes, it did. The kite is flying up in the sky. Look at the robins. They can say anything bad now because the kite is flying. He says the kite flew into the air. It climbed higher and higher. "It did it! We did it!" cried Toad. Toad is happy now. The kite is finally flying, and the robins are not saying bad things anymore. "Yes," said Frog. "If a running try did not work," don't forget that's what the Toad did first. He just ran with the kite. "A running and waving try did not work." That was the second try. He ran and he waved the kite over his head. And a running, waving, and jumping try did not work. That was the third try. He ran, he waved the kite, and he jumped up and down. But it didn't work. I knew that a running, waving, jumping, and shouting try just had to work. So this is the last try. This is all that he did to make the kite fly up in the sky. What is it that he did? He ran, he waved, he jumped, and he shouted. He shouted, right? All right. So many birds there. And look at them. They look so happy now. Because the kite is finally flying. And it's flying so high in the sky. It's amazing. Look at the birds. Can you see the birds right there? Oh, the birds cannot even fly as high as the kite. Huh. I wonder how jealous they are. It says the robins flew out of the bush, but they could not fly as high as the kite. Frog and Toad sat and watched their kite. It seemed to be flying way up at the top of the sky. Right? It looks like it is at the top of the sky. And the birds over here, they're not even as high as the kite is. Alright, boys and girls, that's the end of our story. But, look, you can see a real frog right there. But I want to read, boys and girls, our informational text with you. It says measuring weather. So we learned about measuring weather before in science. So this will be kind of a review for you. It says there are different tools for measuring weather. Have you ever heard of a windsock? There's a windsock somewhere here. Yeah, that's a windsock right there. It shows which way the wind blows. So as you can see, the wind is blowing that way. That's why the windsock, it's moving that way. A rain gauge measures how much rain falls. You remember the rain gauge? We did it in science and we even drew the water in it. A large storm will bring a lot of rain. I don't know if we have a rain gauge over here, maybe on the next page. But we do have thermometers. You can see the thermometer here, boys and girls, is showing a high temperature. Here the temperature is above 80 degrees Fahrenheit. And it will be, Celsius is a little bit different, but we don't use Celsius here in the United States. We use Fahrenheit. And here the temperature is above 80 degrees Fahrenheit. That's why the girl can be out riding a bike and she's not wearing long pants. She's wearing a dress and she's happy outside enjoying the sunny and warm day. Now let's take a look at the boy. Look at the temperature in this thermometer. You see, if you look at this one is above 80, but this one is below 40. That's really cool. That's why you can see all that snow there. The boy has to wear long pants, boots. He has to wear a hat, a scarf. All right, let's see what it says over here. It says a thermometer. We just look at the thermometer. A thermometer measures temperature. Temperature is how warm or cool something is. On a hot day, you and your friends might like to ride bikes or play ball. On a cold day, you might want to put on a coat and play in the leaves or build a snowman. When you know the temperature, you know what to wear. So it is very important to know the temperature, right? But if we know the season, that's a good clue too, right? Because you're in summer, you're not going to wear a coat. You wear a coat during winter. Look at the bars across the graph. We have a bar graph over here at the bottom. We're going to get into more detail in a few seconds. Each bar shows the temperature for a day. Which day was the hottest? Which day was the coolest? What was the temperature on the second day of the week? All right, so we have 3 questions. The first one is, which day was the hottest? Let's get to that question. By the way, once again, this is a graph of daily temperature. We have over here the days of the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. This is only 5 days of a week. A week has 7 days, not 5. We're missing the weekend. And here we have the degrees. The degrees probably in Fahrenheit. And we can see, boys and girls, don't forget, we're looking for what was the hottest day of the week. the hardest day of the week. Which one is the bar that is the longest? Which one is the longest bar? As you can see, boys and girls, the longest bar is the blue one, and it goes almost to 70, right? It gets almost to 70 degrees. So Wednesday was the hottest day of the week. Let's take a look at the second question. The second question says, which day was the coolest? Now, instead of the longest bar, we want to look for the shortest bar. ¿Cuál es la barra más corta? Which one is the shortest bar? Could it be this one? No, because this one is shortest, right? This one is the shortest. So the shortest, boys and girls, is between 40 and 50 degrees. And that day was Thursday. So this bar shows Thursday. And it's between 40 and 50 degrees. All right, we only have one more question to answer. What was the temperature on the second day of the week? Oh, I'm sorry about that. Boys and girls, what was the temperature on the second day of the week? Here we have 5 days on this week. Our second day is going to be Tuesday. Second is one of your sight words, by the way. The word is right here. Second. It was Tuesday. What was the temperature on the second day of the week? Well, it was right between 50 and 60. So we can say that it was 55 degrees, right? On the second day of the week, on Tuesday, it was 55 degrees. And with that, boys and girls, we finish with this story. And it's called The Kite. And don't forget that this is a story that I want you to watch every day. All right? Except for Friday. If you don't watch it on Friday, it's okay. But I need you to watch it every day. All right, boys and girls. See you later for our workbook pages. Bye.